Hello, hello, and welcome back to another great episode of the podcast You Are the Masterpiece, where we are talking about that you do not have to be perfect as long as you are taking the effort, and we are all work in progress and the masterpieces at the same time. And if this is the first time you are tuning in, welcome to this beautiful space. My name is Irina Portnova, and I'm a manifestation star because I manifested amazing things in my life. And I teach people how to do it consciously, how to do it with ease and grace. And I'm here today with my dear guest, Carolyn Mann. Carolyn, welcome to the studio.
Oh, Irina, thank you so much for having me. I'm Carolyn Mann, and what I do is I help families put together strong roots so they can grow their financial life. And I had a background in plants. I used to be the plant lady, but now I'm the money lady.
I love it. So let's dive deeper into that story of, like how did you transition that, like because it's interesting as we are growing and evolving, we are constantly tapping into other gifts that we have inside of us, right? Because a lot of times we go through the traditional path as we our parents wanted us to go, and then we saw that everybody else around us was doing something similar, and at one point in our life, when we become more aware, when we become more conscious, all of a sudden we just want more out of life. All of a sudden, we do not want to settle. We want to really thrive in our life. So, tell a little bit about that story when you transition from planting to actually, planting the plants to actually planting the money.
The money. Well, my background, I'm from a small town in Indiana. I actually went to college. I had the intention of being a scientist. But once I got there, I found out working in the lab was very boring. And
Hmm.
I did fell in love with the greenhouse. They had a greenhouse, so I switched my major to horticulture, and I eventually became a horticulturist at Disney World and,
Hmm.
and also on cruise ships for Royal Caribbean. So I worked in all these dream locations, but I did not feel like I was living the dream life. And I sort of
Hmm.
wondering what's going on. And someone shared with me that you can actually grow your money. It's as simple as planting seeds. Be
Hmm.
intentional and know what to do with it. So that's the start of
Hmm. I love it. You know what
it.
it is? It's so awesome to bring the awareness because once we start sitting with the question, sooner or later we are going to discover the answer for that question, right? So I just love when, like when we have some questions and sometimes it feels like I don't even know if there is an answer. Trust me, there is. As long as you put attention to that, and whatever we put attention, the universe sees as our intention, and what we focus on is going to expand. So let's continue your story, Carolyn. Somebody told you that there is a way for you to plant the money roots.
Yeah, there was a way to actually grow my money and also change careers and reach a higher potential. I was feeling kind of stuck. I had worked for two major corporations, and I was the type of person that always wanted to go the extra mile and do my best.
Mhm.
But guess what? You get more work, but not
Totally. All it is, they're just dumping more work, but no more money.
for no more money. So I
Hmm.
discovered there's a tremendous potential in the financial services industry. And so I aligned myself with a company that brings Wall Street to Main Street. So I just love
Hmm.
helping the average person become a millionaire because believe it or not, that's probably what it's going to take in order to retire in the future. We're going to have $1 million, but it's something we can achieve just by taking it.
Totally. Yes. So tell me more. What is something that you enjoy with your new career, with your new business?
Well, I was always a very shy, introverted person, and I've learned that I really love to meet people. And that's
Hmm.
through networking, that's how we met. And I love to help people, and I love to find out their stories. And I kind of
Hmm.
think that's the way you are too, Irene. I think
Hmm.
you're really
Yeah.
good at finding the stories within the person.
Hmm.
So that's what I love to do. And
Mhm.
for example, I was at a event on the 4th of July, and I met with a vendor there, and I just picked up her card, and we connected. I decided to give her a call and tell her what I did. I find out she's a young mom, just been married a year but has a baby, and she would love to stay home. That's why she had this cottage business making baked goods, but she was taken advantage of by the financial services industry, and that's something I really hate is when
Mhm.
people don't get the right information, they get misinformation or they get no information. So I was able to show her and her husband a better way where they could protect their family with the right kind of insurance and have a lot more that they could put towards saving. In fact, she called and said that they're buying property so they can build their first house. So the very
Awesome.
yeah.
I love all these success stories. They're like so, so crucial. And can you tell a little bit about Carolyn for someone who doesn't have anything in terms of, because you are helping people with different products, right? What exactly you are helping people with?
Well, it all starts with building your financial house and having a
Mm-hmm.
foundation. So the foundation is built basically two things. One is an emergency fund, because if
Mm-hmm.
you remember during COVID, the government was giving these checks because people didn't have $1,000 in their savings
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not. More than half of Americans don't have $1,000 in their savings account. So an emergency fund is really important, and it can be started with just $25 a month. Start
Mm-hmm.
putting it away and creating that habit. And I just read an article from Susie Orman, and she said that's a great gift to give someone a starter for their emergency fund. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
what is the thing that bothers you the most? And it's, I don't have an emergency fund. So that's something you can help someone with during the holiday season. And then the second foundation is to protect your income. That means in case something happens, usually there's two breadwinners in a house. If something happens, that means that household income would be cut in half. So the best way to protect it is with term insurance. It's low cost, it's affordable. You can get a lot of insurance for your money, and that frees up more money that you can put aside for the future. And I would suggest
Mm-hmm.
a Roth IRA.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I love that. Like all these tips are important because a lot of times people just navigate in the life without, like we are all so consumed with our problems and everything else, right? So we might skip some necessary steps. Any kind of tips would you like to give to somebody who is just kind of curious about what this is all about, just want to explore, want to see, is there the consult that you're providing for people to sit with you and talk?
Yes, absolutely. And we did put it in the link there that
Mm-hmm.
I'll be offering three resources, because I find just what you said, we go about our busy lives and we really don't pay attention to our money. That was me. I have to confess, I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
anything about money, and people really don't get a good education about money. So the first step is to find out, what do you have? Where is it going and how are you spending it? So I'm offering a money tracker, and it's just to show you where your money's going so that you can, because when you pay attention to it, right, it's going to grow. And
Absolutely.
and then the second
Mm-hmm.
part of the free gift, which is in the link, is a guide. It's called How Money Works, and it teaches everything, basic concepts with lots of pictures. Basic concepts like what is compound interest, what is a mutual fund, what is
Mm-hmm.
the right kind of insurance, even what is the best mortgage. So that's all in that guide. And then I'm offering a 20-minute consultation to calculate your financial independence number. And what that is, it's like your target. Think of it, we're talking in terms of a garden here, the bumper
Mm-hmm.
crop. You got to know, what do I need to do to get there to that bumper crop. So we'll calculate your financial independence number so you know what you're shooting for.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So who is your typical client?
Well, my typical client is on two ends of the spectrum. So
Mm-hmm.
we have the families with children, definitely need what we have to do. And then the other side of the spectrum is people like me. They're getting ready to retire. Maybe they have a 401k. They don't know what do I do? How do I make this 401k last through my retirement? And is
Mhm.
there something more I can do in retirement? So
Mhm.
those two ends of the spectrum. And we, like I said, offer a wide array of financial products. Just think of them as seeds, and they're going to grow over time. I also
Mhm.
mentioned that pruning is important, and it's something I
Mhm.
had to learn how to do when I was a horticulturist. Pruning means cutting away the debt and the unnecessary spending, and maybe some habits that you've been doing that don't serve you well.
Mhm. Mhm. I love that. I love that. Can you share another successful story so I know that people relate through the stories because they can see themselves in these stories, right? The more we share, the more they are like, "Oh my god, this is exactly she's talking about me."
Yeah, well, I have two more stories if we have time.
Of
Uh,
course.
one story was a lady that was referred to me who was an executive with a large hotel chain, and she was doing very well financially, but she wasn't sure that she had enough money to retire. So we did calculate her financial independence number, and then we kind of reallocated her money so that would have a better growth, and she ended up being able to retire by the time she wanted to. So, by the time I met her,
Mhm.
maybe 5 years down the road. So she's enjoying retirement now, spending more time with her grandchild. Of course, she did some redecorating to her house and doing things that she likes to do. So it's important that we do know how much we're going to need for retirement and how to get there. So that was
Mhm.
one client. And the other client, somebody I met through her nephew, uh, they're immigrants to this country, so they really didn't know anything about finances. And again, they were sold a product that did not serve them well. So we replaced that product with term insurance, and then we started a investment plan through a Roth
Mhm.
IRA for the wife, one for the husband. Well, 2 years ago, I moved and I happened to get a phone call that he passed away from a heart attack.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
fortunately, they had that protection in place, and they were still here in my home state of Florida. So I drove down and took care of that and showed her how everything was going to be okay. And they were able to grieve the loss, but not grieve a monetary loss, which was
Mhm.
a great stress relief.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So these are beautiful stories. And if anybody is listening and just curious, I would definitely start with your free offer to see what this is all about, right? And just to explore. Because again, we do not know what we do not know. And once we tap into something, everything becomes like so reachable. And again, it's about talking to the right people because somebody already knows what we want. So why do we have to navigate by ourselves? Why don't we just come with the people who already know and who can show us the path, right, to whatever we desire?
Absolutely. We can't really lead ourselves if we don't have the right knowledge and information. And the
Mm-hmm.
beautiful thing about it is that once it's shared in a way that you can understand, it's as simple as planting seeds and watching them grow. But
Yeah.
as a financial guide, I'm there with my clients throughout the times when they want to pull the plant up by the roots because they're afraid. There is sometimes some fear. So I will
Mm-hmm.
hold their hands and I help them understand they have to be patient. Compound interest is a wonderful thing, but it does take time. And what I
Mm-hmm.
did at work, like I said, I shared with my client who was able to retire because she took advantage of that power of compound interest in as many places as she could. So
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. And I love the keyword that you said, like the patience. This is like super, super important, right? Because again, people want the results yesterday. It just doesn't happen. Like if you want to be honest about everything, results create over time. and like steady but beautifully, and these are the results that last us for the lifetime. So whatever you are tapping into, just know it's going to take some time to build like that foundation, right? And then you grow on that foundation. Obviously with manifestation you can speed up, but again, everything can happen overnight, but not since you just start doing it, right? So again, it's just to be aware that good things take time, right? Whether good relationship takes time, whether good career takes time, whether good money takes time, but once you're already on the right path, things might come up even surprisingly for us. So it's all about just, hey, let's sit down, let's talk, and let's see.
Absolutely, just being open minded. And I'll use my plant analogy again is we have to get the weeds out. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
our thoughts are weeds. We think, I can't do it. There's no way. But sometimes you need a guide. I mean, you are obviously helping so many people in your work on the manifestation side. And then
Mm-hmm.
manifestation is part of it. It's part of your
Absolutely. Yep.
financial.
Totally. Yes.
Yeah.
So, what is something that lights you up when you are doing what you love to do? What is something that gives you the pleasure, the joy, the excitement?
Well, just helping people is kind of like my driving force. I
Mm-hmm.
have that motto: "Go mad, make a difference." That's been my
Right.
motto since like seventh grade. It's kind of corny, maybe, but that's the way I am. That I
Mm-hmm.
believe I'm here to make a difference in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and with this type of work, where I can work for myself but not by myself. I have the backing of a
Right.
Fortune 1000 company. I can reach a higher potential. I can reach as many people as I want to, and they can refer others to me. But what lights me up is just seeing the light bulb go off, the hope, that
Mm-hmm.
people get when they realize, oh, I probably should have learned this in high school, but I didn't learn it, or I didn't know that this was the wrong way. There's a famous race car driver who was just uh, filed a lawsuit for millions of dollars because someone from the financial industry did not disclose everything about the product that he got involved in. So
Mm.
there's a lot of misinformation, and so when I can help somebody get the right information so they can make the right decision, and I can see them to all the way to the end. I'm not transaction oriented. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a relationship. It's a relationship that I'm with the person. Now I'm helping my clients' children because I've been doing this for over 20 years.
How beautiful. And the last question I have for you, what are the tips that you can give to somebody, let's say where you were, and before you tap into what you are doing, before you tap to the knowledge, before you tap to that wealth, what is something that you would love to share as the tips?
Well, I would love to share, learn something new about money every day. It can
Mm-hmm.
also be sort of a fearful subject sometimes. And then people hear, especially, the news likes to tell the worst of the worst, right?
Yeah,
So,
totally. Garbage. I
with
don't listen to the news.
we spoke about that before. But learn something new. You can just go log on to Yahoo Finance and take a look
Mm-hmm.
at the stock market chart. Sometimes you'll hear a headline. I had a client text me the other day. Oh, what's going on? I think the world's coming to an end. I mean, he was serious about it. So I look at the stock market chart. I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about because everything was up. But
Mm-hmm.
just look at Yahoo Finance, take a look at it. You're going to start understanding it after you look at it a few times. And there's always articles there. I like to read Susie Orman. I like to read Dave Ramsey, Money Magazine. Make it an intention that I'm going to learn something about money.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. Awesome. Beautiful. Anything else that you would like to add before we wrap it up?
Well, I just want to thank you for being so generous and asking me to be your guest. And yeah, I'm not good at that, but hopefully you got the idea. Take control. That's the thing I want to wrap up with. Don't, too much of America is in a debt cycle. They're just, letting the media sell them and they're buying to just keep up with somebody else. Take control of your own life. And it
Mm-hmm.
starts with being intentional about your money. Whatever you pay
Yes.
attention to grows. So when you pay attention to your money, it will grow.
You know what? And this is something that just downloaded to me as you're sharing is, same thing. If we have to nurture our plants, right? We have to water them. We have to make sure there is enough sunlight, whatever we want to do. Same thing with money, right? Just take
Absolutely.
care of them, be good to them, speak nicely to them. Believe it or not, it's all energy, and money is also part of that energy. So the last we are going to be shameful, saying, I don't want to talk about it, money is dirty, and something in that nature, without even realizing we are actually repelling that wealth. So
Mhm.
now it's the time to kind of just open ourselves up and just say, I love money. And I know the more I have, the more I can bless others. That's
Absolutely.
exactly something I wanted to wrap this episode with, just because a lot of people are sitting and saying, I'm okay, but it's not just about you. It's about what can you do to the world, how can you contribute, how can you make this world be better, right? And that's exactly what I wanted to share. So
Yeah.
claim Carolyn free gift. And if you have any questions, connect with her. There is the LinkedIn, their contact. And we'll see everybody on the next episode. Thank you so much, Carolyn.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
your
You are the
wisdom
best.
and for everything what you shared. All
Okay.
right.
Thank you,
Have a good
Irene.
one.